Welcome to the perspective. It's your boy Wiggles.
It's your boy Kev, aka The Entertainer.
Yo, what's good? It's Marcus Antonio. And we want to know what's
What's your
your
perspective?
perspective?
Perspective.
So
Yeah.
today we're going to kick this thing off talking about what does it mean to be a successful black male. We've had the opportunity to kind of sort of kick it around individually with ourselves. So I'm going to turn it back over to Wiggles and let you host us out.
All right, man. So success, man, it means so many different things, man, for so many different people. And this is for me personally. Success is actually having an attainable or an achievable goal and being able to accomplish it, whether independently, interdependently, codependently, however it's done, you're actually achieving whatever it is that you set out to accomplish. Now,
Agree.
what I think hinders us as black men, black males, from reaching success is when we take on somebody else's goals and ambitions and expectations or even desires for us, and we fail to reach those, and now we consider ourselves unsuccessful. So that's my take. Care of what you got.
Yeah. So success is different for different people, right? Some folks look at material success. Oh, I've attained this. I got this house, this car. I got this job. I got this, spouse. I got these amounts of kids. I got a picket fence. For some folks, I got this degree. I got that degree. For some folks, listen, I just made it another day, right? I got out of the hood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got out of the hood. So that's my
Today
success.
was a good
So,
day. Yeah.
yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So success is varying for different people, right? Like my success is not the same success as Joe Blow down the road, right? Like my success, when I was in third grade, my teacher told me that most black men like me who have like a single parent household probably end up in jail, right? And so my success was to get out of middle school, high school, to go to college, to get this master's degree. That was my success, to be able to go back and say, well, look what I did against your negative criticism, against your negative stereotype of black men who come from single parent households. So that was my success. My success now is, I want to be able to kill it in my career field. Like I want to be at the top of my career field, like, whether it's diversity and inclusion or, student life and leadership. That's my level. That's my definition of success now. And it changes, just as your mindset should not be the same as you were 20 and now you're 35, your success should change over the course of your life. You know what I'm saying? So that's my version of success, and that's my definition. It changes. It's varying for different people.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the comments that we were getting, and I had to agree with one of our posters. Danny Ray Smith Jr. said that it's subjective, and I have to piggyback with what Kev is saying that. I am stuck in this place that I really don't know what success for me looks like. I've obtained so many things, bro. I have a dedicated spouse. I have acquired this bag now. I have
Shouts out to the
purchased
bag.
a house. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I still don't know. I still don't feel successful.
And that's what I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you because do you feel successful? And I think again, with my definition of success is setting out some goals, some attainable goals, right? So attainable, realistic goals, and actually being able to accomplish it. And again, I say, and I know earlier I said sometimes men don't reach success because we're trying to attain somebody else's goal, but also I think we got to keep in mind that sometimes we actually set some unattainable, some unrealistic goals, and we call it being optimistic and trying to shoot for the stars, man. In reality, the resources that we have, the footing that we have, the background that we have, the knowledge, information, all of that stuff, man, it keeps us from reaching success. And now I do believe that success looks different personally and how we see success, success in family and success in our community or in society. It looks different, man. So, Marcus, go ahead. Let's dabble into.
I wanted to piggyback on what you just said a little bit though, because if I take your definition of what success is, I I know I'm successful, right? Like
Right.
that list I just rattled off, man. That was a dream that I never thought would come into fruition. You know what I mean? And I've obtained those things, but I want to circle back a little bit later on about being able to celebrate success. I think
Right.
that I haven't been able to celebrate, so I don't really have the. I'm jumping from one success to the next, so I'm
Uh-huh.
not taking my time to celebrate it. So maybe that's probably
Uh-huh.
why I feel like success isn't real. I'm chasing the next big thing. You know what I mean? Um, but I like where you were going. Let's share a little bit and get into some of these comments. But Kev, I
Well,
feel you
see
burning.
now I want to piggyback off of you because then I also have to add a different layer of success. Like, how much of your legacy is rooted in success, right? You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like we all want, like I would love to have kids one day, right? And so
mhm,
that's a part of that's the last part of my success, right? You know what I'm saying? So I have
mhm,
this legacy, this foundation to go. Even when I die, it's going to go on for years because that's my legacy, that's my success. You know what I'm saying? But that's not for everybody.
Well,
That's
look,
not
though,
for everybody.
even with legacy, man, I think our name, like namesake, is success as it relates to
Hands down.
legacy.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my last name is Searles, right? And so I am the oldest or eldest living male Searles on my maternal side. I
Mm,
never met my grandfather. Don't know any of the family. I know they exist. However,
mhm,
from the maternal side is me, and then there's the middle brother who's a Searles as well.
mhm,
Kid wise, our kids do not have our last name. You
mhm,
know what I'm saying? And that's another topic for another day.
mm,
However, when you think of success and legacy, going into what Kevin was saying, you want to pass that success down to your kids, which goes into the family. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? And so since I'm there, I guess I say something about it just a little bit, because for me, being able to give your family, your children something, whether it's land, house, money, wisdom, knowledge, information, whatever it is, and seeing them make that bigger than what you did
mm,
and growing. Saying on my paternal side, we have what they call the Jones Hill. Their father or their grandfather, who was a slave, land, gave land to their father, and then all the brothers and sisters shared this big old land area.
okay.
And so it goes into now their kids having the opportunity to have not only the land but the homes and all of those things. And so for me, that's success. Somebody who comes up in slavery, no money, no nothing, to be able to pass down that type of heritage to your family, that is successful. Me right now, I don't own any land. I don't own a home. I don't even own a car right now. I was in a car accident, so I've been waiting to get another one. I don't own a car, and I don't. Well, I do own a business, and getting your kids to do what you do and love doing what you do and seeing it as being a lucrative thing, something that's beneficial for them socially and financially. That's another aspect of it too, as it relates to being successful in the family. When you see your kids uh, get the grades in school, that's successful because that's your pride and their representation of you. Seeing your kids get a job and do well at work, graduating and going from one level to the next level, performing
Mhm,
really well. All of that to me, it relates to a man or a male being successful in the house because their children are a reflection and or a representation of who you are.
yeah. I was talking to my moms, my brother, and my sister today, and all of us are singers, natural singers. We get it from our grandmother. When I say every last one of my grandmother's children can sing, every last one of the grandkids can sing, every last one of the great grandchildren can sing. And it's funny we're talking about this legacy. I'm gonna throw some a little ranch in there, right? I am envious of my brother's legacy, right? And even my sisters, I'll be honest, being a um homosexual male, the prospect of having children naturally isn't that ain't feasible. There's adoption, there
Right,
is
right, 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 right.
contractual agreement, I mean, all these things. But I was listening to my mom talk about her grandkids, and my brother's kids' ability to sing and play instruments and all these things, right? And was comparing each of the grandkids to each other. Well, my sister is the best singer of my generation. My mom's sister is the best singer of her generation. My grandmother is the best singer of her, right? So we were
Right.
going through this, and I felt myself feel some type of way when I heard my nephew start rapping and singing, and then heard the next niece and nephew, and I'm like, damn, what the fuck am I gonna leave? You know what I mean? Like, what do I have to
The buck
leave
stops with
these
you.
people? You know what I'm saying? And you know, my mom was like, you know, cut that shit out. Like, no, you definitely have something that you're leaving this family. Like, you are the first to go to college. You are the first to get these degrees. You are the reason that your nieces and nephews aspire to do so well in school. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
felt myself being a little envious of not being able to leave a legacy of blood and bone. You know what I'm saying? I think that when we're talking about success, I think that might be it for me. I think that because I do not have an heir,
Right.
whether it's
Yeah.
male or female, I don't think that I've reached what success
Yeah.
really is
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
accumulated all these material things, you know what I mean? I've accumulated this marriage, and that is an amazing, awesome thing. But I think that just through this conversation, man, I think that I'm realizing that for me, maybe
You just
success
had an
is going to
epiphany.
be, you know, leaving this legacy or having a legacy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Well,
no, my bad. I just wanted to throw that in there.
But I
well,
mean, it makes sense, though. It makes
you were
sense.
mentioning earlier. I think that by the end of this broadcast, since you are a singer, you could leave us with something before we leave tonight. And kind of give us a little sample
I can
of
do
all
that.
this
I can do
talent. You know what I'm saying?
a
But
little something.
I think it's very interesting the point you bring about being envious of people's success.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like by this time in my life, I thought I would have had this, that,
Mm-hmm.
and this, right? And I always said, like, bro, if I don't have kids by 35, then it's just not gonna happen,
So,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I will be 36 in less than 5 months. And so it's like for me, hey, it's been real, but I mean, I don't want to be like 60 and my kid be like 12, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or 18. Oh, that's your granddad? No, that's my dad. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that for my child, right? And so, I look at my sister, and my sister, what I'm saying, has two beautiful children. I love my nephews. And my mom is always like, oh, my grandchildren is like, well, damn. Like, I don't have anything. We're in the same boat. I don't have anything to offer you. And it's not because I don't, I think at this point, it's now more of a connection, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have any baby mama drama. Like, I want to be married before, I have kids. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's like I'm realizing every day that, hey, Kevin, it just might not happen for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always say it again, if I don't have kids by 35, hey, adoption is the best route. We can be like R. Kelly and go half on a baby, something. But,
Yeah.
the older I get, I'm like, do I really want that level
I
of
rated
responsibility?
just
First off, because I'm an avid traveler, okay, and I like to go when I want to go. So if I have a child, then I'm like, then I got to slow down a little bit, and then it's like, do I really want that? Like, I mean, I know that's the American dream, okay, but no.
But look, you just brought up two key points as it relates to success, personally and familial, right? And when I say familiar, I'm not saying familiar, but familiar with the IAL at the end of it. Limitations, right? Limitations. So there are certain things that we look at that we see as boundaries and or limitations that keep us from being successful, right? And so if you move those limitations out of the way personally, then how you approach success with or without a family, in and out of work, whether it's your own career or your own company or working for someone else, how you see success for yourself personally. And if you can remove personal boundaries and limitations, wherever you go and whatever it is that you're doing, in my opinion, personally, you can reach success quicker and you can even celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? Because listening to Marcus talk about, being around the family, having a conversation and, talking about how things are passed down from generation to generation, you look like, well, dang, who am I going to pass down specifically my stuff? Who is going to get that specifically? Do I have to give it to somebody contractually? Do I have to give it to somebody by adoption? Do I got to give it to one of my nieces or nephews? You know what I'm saying? Like those things, but because that's one of the conversations that I used to have myself. I have an eldest daughter, who does not live with me, right? And so when I think about giving somebody something that's yours, like, man, you know how you ration it out. But I mean, I got 3 kids now, and so somebody can get something and do something with it. But I think I see that as it relates to limitations. Not having kids, that's a limitation. Like, man, if I don't have kids, am I really successful? Oh no, let me get that limitation out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Because whether you desire them or not, that doesn't determine your success. The second thing that you said, Kevin, was the American dream. Our dream, the black male dream,
Right.
is not the same as the American dream.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I have to
agree.
But it's been forced down our throat, you know, all of our lives, you know, to have the picket fence, to have the wife, the 2
That's so funny.
the dog.
I have the picket fence. I have the dog. I have the little yard.
You got the American dream. You know,
except I'm with a dude. So is it really the American dream? You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying though. That's the thing. That's another limitation. The American dream that was not created for us. That's another limitation.
That's a good point.
And that deals with a lot with when it comes to black folks being successful. We are in this.
We trying to measure it to them. Yeah. We trying to measure it to them. And truthfully, you know what I'm saying? Not to belittle white America at all whatsoever. However, we are our own distinct person. We are our own people. You know what I'm saying? We look different, talk different, act different, we're built different, we want different. And granted, people do achieve the quote unquote American dream because that's what they're going for. But at the end of the day, name any black person that you know who has reached the American dream and beyond who is still not considered a nigga.
Okay. Tiger Woods.
Come on.
I'm just gonna throw a name out there.
You did it. I mean, it's still the same. With LeBron James, he's young and successful, but when he get to talking politics, them people they'll tell you real quick.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick, whether he's a great
you don't
athlete
belong.
or not. Come on. It's gonna happen.
Shit, Martin Luther King, Cornel West, the astounding philosophers were told to shut up and sit their ass down.
Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Rosa Parks, get to the back. You know what I'm saying? She's a female, but
Shirley Chisholm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you good, but get on back there. You can't talk it.
It's the reality, man, of what I'm saying is that I think, again, for the black male, we put limitations and stipulations and boundaries on ourselves that keep us, going back to what Marcus said earlier, from celebrating our success.
Yeah.
Most of us have been successful, even though we're all 36 and younger, right? Most of us have reached a certain level of success so far, surpassing so many people that we know and do not know, and we are still trying to attain more success so that we can feel successful.
I talked a little bit last week or our last sesh about imposter syndrome. That's a part of it.
It's real.
So before we go too deep, because y'all know we like to talk, I want to try to get some of our follower views in. So
let's go there.
Let me get that take. So
we had some good feedback, man. We did.
Yeah, we really did. We really did.
Yeah,
post it. So I'm going to start with the the show topic itself. What does it mean to be successful? And we got some pretty good remarks. Wiggles, you want to take this?
Yeah. So let's go down to Shavarsky, right? So when
so that's the husband.
There you go. I was gonna say. I've been in Shar.
Shar, a big comment today.
Shar, the artist. You know. So it says, when I think of success, I think of support. As much as we as men put up this tough exterior, we require support to ensure things flow smoothly. So I'm gonna stop right there, right? Because I'm talking about limitations, right? So, and I that is a limitation. If we don't get the support, if people ain't backing us, they ain't pushing us, they ain't clapping their hands, they ain't cheering for us or whatever, we feel like we ain't reached it. And even to the fact that you having a husband, that right there alone puts you behind the curveball for having support. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From white America, even though it's on them, Black America, especially the church folks, and you know I'm church folks, but I don't do it. I don't do it like that. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother limitation. Like, man, they ain't really rocking with me. They ain't rocking with us. They ain't feeling me. Like, and we do put up that tough exterior because we want it to appear that we do not care how people feel about what we've accomplished.
Keyword appear.
Yeah.
You know, when I was
look like, go ahead.
When I was a child, when I was a child, and I'm sure we've all heard this, it always said that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's the biggest lie in the world. Words do hurt. Yeah. And I think we put up that tough exterior because those words hurt. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, well, dog, like, no, words hurt. And they can have a very dangerous and lasting effect on those who they're said to.
And not even when they're said, it's unspoken stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true too.
So like with this new job that I've got with the state board, I was like, damn, I don't have this cheerleading crowd that I would have back home because it's me and Shar here. You know what I'm saying? So we celebrate together, but it's like I don't have the family and friends calling and like, you know what I mean? I need the squad to be like, you know what I mean? Yeah, bro, like.
Cause that Facebook love, it feel good, but it ain't, you don't get
it ain't there in person with you.
Yeah, bro.
Man. You don't get to feel it, man. Take us back up there so we can read some more, man. I just really wanted to, I wanted to really touch on that, man, because we as black males, man, we really do put on that thick skin. But what I do know is that seeing that we're on Facebook, right? Facebook gives us a platform to express ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And so what happens is that we begin to express ourselves. And I have one friend in particular, brother, who is in this group, man, Timothy Hooper, man. Shout out to him in Chicago, man, doing major things for his community, feeding
big
the
ups,
hood.
big ups.
You know what I'm saying? Feeding the hood. And a lot of times when he expresses himself, man, a lot of people are like, man, I think he's doing too much, or is he just doing this stuff for himself? He's trying to show. And I talked to him a lot about, like, man, you got to be careful of how you put out what you put out. And and for me, it's not about not being true to yourself.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to attract a certain clientele, and I'm not even talking in color, but I'm talking, if you're trying to attract money, money attracts money. And if you appear to be very, 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 very poverty stricken, and you're just desperate for just trying to get money versus putting the mission to the forefront, sometimes people surpass, not surpass, but they move past actually helping you because they only see you, even though you're showing the mission. And it goes back to what Shar said about this whole thing of support, because he said it ensures things flow smoothly. And with what Timothy does, he needs a heck of a lot of support consistently, constantly, and he needs it to be on, it needs continuity. He needs continuity with it, man. And so even here, DeAndre said success is overcoming your trials and tribulations, accomplishing goals, not allowing yourself to be defeated by pressure, but overcoming it. As a black man, success is getting married, raising a family. That's y'all right there. Yeah, getting married and having these children.
But you know what? I mean, this is still rooted in the American dream right here. You know what I mean? Getting married, raising a family. You know what I mean?
So, look, until you retire, and then you can't spend your money on nothing.
Now see, and y'all big on research and history, man. But I think, and I know I said this about the American dream because that's what's been brought on us. But if we go back to our roots, family is a huge thing as well. You know,
it is. That's true.
It's a huge thing.
That's true.
It's bigger than the American dream. However, because of where we are, that's what we know. You know what I'm saying? It's what we see, because really, man. And from our original culture, you would see one man with multiple women with multiple children, and they may consider that successful. You know what I'm saying? Where now, in the times that we living in, you can't have that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's trifling. Let me see. We talked about Danny. I asked Danny some questions, man. I'm glad you brought this up. To me.
Shouts out to Danny. Shouts out to North Carolina in the building. My brother. That's my brother. Shouts out to my brother,
success is subjective. I've accomplished many things that I wasn't given a chance to do in my youth. I may be broke, but I'm still successful. And so
That's true.
I asked him what was broke, and was being broke subjective. And you see his reply, yeah, broke is different from some people. I have friends who say that they are broke when they are down to only $1,000 in their checking account. Me, on the other hand, broke means broke. I live paycheck to paycheck. And my response was gotcha. But in reality, man, I think most of us live paycheck to paycheck. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If you know how to balance, if you that debt to ratio, that debt to credit ratio, or whatever, and you know how to manage that paycheck, you just yeah. I mean,
Listen, round about the 23rd. Okay, I'm on peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? And so I know on the last day of the last working day of the month, I know I got a present coming in my account there. But listen, I have some other jobs. I got some other little side hustles, so I don't really live paycheck to paycheck in a sense. But like, listen, my money is like, when I know my money is spent, when like if I get paid on the 31st, by the 3rd, my money is already allocated different bills and different priorities and responsibilities.
Look,
and so I'm looking forward to the next month already.
That might be success right there, man. Being able to have money and not already have it allocated for, accounted for. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the stimulus check that I'm waiting on. Okay, shout out to the stimulus. Waiting on the stimulus check, waiting on it. Okay.
Culturally, man, we'll know some money coming, and that money will be spent before it get here, and then let it be a penny. Or we feel like the world is over. There's a comment on there, man. You actually had screenshotted the comment, but he came in and actually posted it again. I want to see that. I think that's Darren. Was it Darren?
Yeah, you know what? This
I
came from our second our question of the week. So Kevin posted question of the week. If you had the opportunity to take advantage of one of the following, which would you choose? A, we're talking student debt relief, and we're talking about erasure of all your student debts to this point. So we're talking about all of it. You know what I mean? At this point. All right. So B, we talking about an increased credit score. We talking about a guaranteed 100-point rise in that score. And the last piece is reparations. We're talking about 25 acres or a one-time $75,000 payment.
So look, before we go to that, let's discuss it real quick before we go down there. This right here, I think this is another
a whole show, because
not even it's a whole show, definitely, but I think this is another thing that limits Black men and their feeling for being successful. The guy said earlier, man, he's broke. Why is he broke? Because he got a bunch of student debt? Is he broke because his credit score is low? Is he broke because he got $75,000? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that what is broke? And as it relates to what Shar said about having the support, do you think for he and other Black males is having all of this stuff, very little to no debt and high credit score to be able to get what you want, when you want, how you want, and just saying that, I got 75K and I can give people what they want, because sometimes that's why people don't support you, because you just can't give them what they want when they want. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Yeah, what was your rationale behind this? Let's talk about it.
So I mean, one of my interns had posted this, and I said, that's a good question. And we asked about, what limits the Black man, or what.
He'll be back shortly. Give you a couple minutes. While we wait on him to come back, let's scroll back up and look at these other things. We'll go back.
A and C, right? Because
you went out, Kev. You went out. You got to start over.
Yeah, Kev, you got to start all the way.
I mean, this is what happens.
That was intern
when you video.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I feel like the Verizon commercial. Okay. Shout out to Verizon. Okay. Okay. So I got this question from my intern, right? And I said, this is a really good thought, because we always talk about the notion of, are we supported as Black men to be successful in America, right? And so I saw this question. I said, I'm gonna lift your question. I'm gonna use it in my Black male perspective group. And for me, it's really a toss up between A and C, right? Because my credit score at this point, if I get another 100 points, I can only go up so high, right? And so the only thing holding me back from achieving that perfect credit score is my student debt. That is the only debt that I have outside of my, my car, which we've done in like 3.5 years. That's the only other debt. Now, the 25 acres of land, if I can choose where the land is, hands down, 25 acres. I can skip this one-time payment, right? But that's gonna go really fast, taxes. But land will always grow in value. You know what I'm saying? If I can pick the land, wonderful. And if I can pick the land, that'll pay off all my student loan debt. You know, my sister, her grandfather, between her and her cousins on her father's side, he left them like a plot of land. Okay, and they all, they can all go in together and sell it, or they can sell off individual pieces. And my sister said, "Well, I don't ever plan to go back here. It's like literally in the middle of a water field. You know what I'm saying?" And so she sold hers, and they're like, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that." And then they all end up missing out because the land is like literally worth nothing now. When she got her payment of close to $15,000, I would definitely go with the student debt relief. I mean, that's probably my first and foremost, unless I could pick my land. But I wanted to see, what Black men would take advantage of, like what would help them be more successful.
I'm taking advantage of this student debt relief. Like, I have 2 bachelors and I have a master's degree. I owe $135,000 to the government. You know what I mean?
Okay, I don't feel bad. We're at the same place.
So, you know what I mean? Like, no, I can buy this land in Georgia. Land in Georgia is dirt cheap compared to land out here in Washington. You know what I mean? So if I'm making the bank that I'm making now, I can go buy some land in Georgia, flip it, whatever the case may be. But right now, what is truly holding me back from truly being successful is this damn student loan debt.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And so now now I want to ask this question. It ain't even, because we really talk family and we really talk personal perspectives of success, and I feel like we're going into this societal view or this community view. Because for me, the erasure of the student debt would definitely be incredible, because that's one thing that it just would go away. But I mean, man, you defer them things so long, it's just sitting there. It's literally just sitting there. However, man, with the land, for me, man, and I'm gonna put this out there, I'm not. There are things that I want to do. And if I had the land to do it, own the land that can put those things out there, own the land, own the property, own the businesses, all of that stuff there, like it is mine, right? It's mine. And so it's just been able to turn that into something that's, again, what we said earlier, legacy. Being able to pass something down to your family, to your kids, and just being able to work it. But because when it comes to that increased credit score, man, somebody got to at least, they should have very little student debt, if any at all. They should have land, or they should have a huge incredible savings and stuff like that. Because an increased credit score, if you ain't well over 500, getting an extra 100 points ain't nothing.
Ain't none. Yeah.
Ain't nothing. I wouldn't even choose that, because honestly, my credit score is low, and so to give me another 100, that ain't even doing nothing. I just truly, man, you give me 75,000, I flip and I show you what to do with it. I show you what to do with it, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to these comments though and see what these people talking about.
This was probably my favorite one from Darren here. To be honest, I know we wanted to highlight this one in particular, but yeah. So Darren says an algorithm that provides all 3. Personally, I would choose A, but every Black man isn't able to attend college. This is true. All right, especially coming from where I come from. I come from Bankhead, Bowen Homes, Perry Homes. I had family in every project in Atlanta, Carver Home, Gilbert Garden, you name it. I had family at Herndon Home. You call it, I had family there, right? So this is definitely true. As far as B, instead of increasing the credit score, why not change how it is calculated? Black men don't have assets or generational wealth to attribute to low debt. Black men do have steady jobs, pay the bills that matter, and try to avoid debt, even though they don't have a leg up, which goes to option C, right? Everyone should get it if you are an American descendant of slavery.
Man, that was a well thought out response.
Algorithm.
And answer. It was because if you look at how things are computed and how they're added up and how people choose what they choose and do what they do, if credit was based upon your annual, I'm not annual, but your average living utilities, man, everybody would have good credit for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like we would have a higher chance at quote unquote success. I'm surprised Michael
Now,
Kidd.
I like Alfred's comment too. Alfred said, with good credit, man, it's important. Everything on this list can be useless without credit. 75K is nice, but now in these times and days, I made that all the way up. Nowadays, that's not a lot of money. 25 acres are great, but what are you going to do with it? Build on it? Where are you getting the loans from? And if you click on that, and yep.
Oh, this was okay.
Oh wow. Okay. And if you do it, will it be a bad loan? You know what I'm saying? So then that puts you back into debt, even with the land. Student loans are bad, but not bad when you are building credit. Revolving payments help your credit. Most people with great credit tell you that it's better to have revolving payments than just paying it off in one lump sum.
Can we stop right there for just a second? Because you know what? I have just I got my first credit card when I was 32 years old. I had never had a credit card before. I told you I came from the projects, you know what I'm saying? So my fear has always been being put out of a place or, being put out of housing or not having enough food to eat. So if you come to my house, my refrigerator is always packed. My deep freezer is always packed. I was told not to pay my mortgage up 3 months in advance. I need to do it a little differently. You know what I mean? So I pay everything that I possess, specifically before marrying my husband. I paid. The only thing I probably had a revolving account was my car. But when it came to my furniture, when it came to appliances, like I had to buy a washer and a dryer when I was working at Albany, I was making pretty good money at Albany Tech. 3 payments, same as cash, 90 days. I did that lump sum like that. I think that when it comes to Black people, bruh, and they like to call us materialistic, bro. It goes back to Black Wall Street when we were successful and they bombed every damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And every time the Black communities built something for ourselves, the white man tore it down. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to stop right there because, that used to be me.
That's a show in and of itself, man.
Yeah, that used to be me, bro. I used to pay lump sums because you ain't taking my shit. Like, you ain't got no reason, rent a center, you ain't got no reason to be trying to come and take my couch while I'm sitting on my couch. You know what I'm saying?
Nowadays, they're coming in and taking them wheels off people's cars and trucks, man. People,
bruh, my bad. They're just, that right there, paying off in lump sums, like, that's a trigger for me when white people say to me, Black people don't know how to don't have credit, don't know how to use credit. Yeah, because it wasn't afforded to us. You know what I mean? You didn't have Black people having credit in the 80s.
You know what I'm saying? It's not taught. You know what I'm saying? It's not taught to how to have effective credit habits and those things like that. Yep. Banking all by itself. And I think that's another reason why, Black men don't really think that that's successful. I mean, even you say 75K is nice, but nowadays that's not a lot. What, in my opinion, what in the world are we trying to accomplish that's going to require you $75,000 at one time that you can't make work, that you can't stretch out, that you can't invest, that you can't put in an IRA, that you can't put in the money?
See, you said all of these things that if you didn't go to, in my opinion, an HBCU that was talking about economics in the state of Black wealth, you wouldn't know what IRAs are. You ain't coming from born homes talking about savings and loans and IRA. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't talking about that.
And that's why we're not successful, because what was actually being presented in our face is successful Black men. And this is a perfect segue to the next part of the show. But successful Black men who are in the hood or the projects and from the hood and the projects and single parent homes, fathers are locked up, mothers on drugs, and they're abused and molested and all of those things. But now all of a sudden,
that's a whole show in itself, bro. Right. Talking about men being molested, because we don't talk about that, but we're gonna address that one day.
I mean, and you think about it, but now all of a sudden they get entertainment opportunities. And then they begin to flash things at us. And so they don't talk about contractual agreements and how people are getting raped left and right. And excuse my terminology, but that's what's happening, especially in the music business and in the sports entertainment business. Like, these people are providing an incredible service, an incredible part of themselves for little to nothing. And unfortunately, our own brothers and sisters are the cause of some of our demise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As it relates to that, man. And so I think now would be the time to, you know, to talk about some successful black men. We did mention a couple earlier, but you know, there are some people who made it from out of the slums, out of the projects, and maybe some of them had you know, the silver spoons or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't know, but we all were tasked with coming up with a couple people that we wanted to highlight. And as you all know, and the public will soon know, I don't like to do a whole lot of in-depth and thorough research. I read up on certain things, man, but I just go based off of who I like and what I like and what I like about them, man. And so my three people were Sean Jay-Z Carter, my favorite rapper, musician, entertainer, you know, aside from my year 2000. But him, um, as much as, and I have to say, and I got to be real, man, as much as I don't like a lot of the stereotypical roles that he plays, you know what I'm saying, like that, Tyler Perry is definitely a successful black male, and I got to give him credit.
I got to give him credit.
And for what he do, for what he does for his community, for his people, man. Another one, and my other one is Denzel Washington, man. I love Denzel, man. He's my favorite actor. You know, my favorite actor. I chose Denzel Washington. I know in my notes I had Barack Obama. You know, he was a successful person, but Jay-Z, and I'm only gonna talk about one, and I choose Jay. The thing that I liked about Jay is his ability to maneuver or fandangle and get from one environment to the next, from one element to the next, from one group to the next group, one company to the next company, one business to the next business, and being afforded so many opportunities to have seats at the tables and being representative of a certain demographic and being able to attain all of this just through a sheer skill. That's what I like the most about them. We as black men, I believe each of us, regardless of how big or how small it is, we have this ability to do something that no one has to teach us, regardless of how we sharpen it, regardless of how we exercise it in terms of being influenced by somebody else, just being able to take that thing that you're incredibly great at and then using that and then maximizing every opportunity. You know, I don't care about any bad deals, any of that other stuff, man. It's just the fact that you're a young black man from the hood in the dope game, and now you're one of the most successful people in the world, not just black, but you're one of the most successful people in the world, married to one of the most successful women in the world, forming the most successful or one of the most successful couples in the world. You know what I'm saying? And for me, that, man, that's always been inspiring, man. Like it's his poise, his position, how he sees himself, how he carries himself. You know what I'm saying? And that's at one point in time, that's what I used to attain to, but I had my own goals. I had my own goals and desires, and so. But those are my three people, and that's the one guy that I want to touch on.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's when you try to narrow down people, you always like you're gonna forget somebody. Like, you know, what's the criteria? But for me, I chose W.E.B. Du Bois, the first black man to get a PhD. You know, the first African American to earn his doctorate degree. I chose Charles Drew, an amazing surgeon, a medical professional who modernized blood banking in a sense. You know, the storage of blood. And I look at people when I think about success. There's a level of sacrifice that comes with success. You know, this man was named, you know, at the head of the American Red Cross, and in a time where black folks weren't even recognized really as people, and he resigned his position because they wouldn't, you know, put all the black and the white blood together. They had to, he didn't want them to separate the black blood, which I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? There was no scientific foundation or proof that mixing blood or, you know, having black blood next to white blood would make any kind of difference, and he stood up for that, and I appreciate that. But and the last person was Whitney M. Young. And so I chose Whitney Young. He's an alumnus of Kentucky State University, but he was also the executive director of the National Urban League from 1961 until his death in 1971. And he did an article in a 1964 interview with Robert Penn Warren, for the book Who Speaks for the Negro, he talked about the model of the National Urban League. And he said that we are the social engineers, we're the strategists, we're the planners, we are the people who work at the highest level of policy making and policy implementation, the highest echelons of the corporate community and the highest echelon of both federal, state, and local levels. We are the social engineers. And so I think about, successful Black men. Here's this man in 1961, which was a very volatile time, talking about we are at the echelon. There are folks who didn't want to see us up there at the very top. So we're at the echelon of this thing. And so when I think about successful Black men, I think about with people like Whitney and Young. Those are my three.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. Real dope.
So my three people, one person I absolutely can't stand, but I have to respect this man's hustle. I have to respect this man's ingenuity. I just have to respect his entrepreneurship. I don't like him as a person, but he is an amazing, successful Black man. Damon John, y'all know the owner of Fubu, started in 1989. Very successful dude. You can catch him on Shark Tank. Bruh is worth about $250 million right now. He's an investor. He's an author. He's a motivational speaker. To be honest, he is someone who I'm not going to say that I emulate, but I definitely do look up to him for his proudness. But yeah, he got some janky personality ways, but I mean, you got to take the whole man for who he is. The other person that I come to mind is going to be Robert L. Johnson. He was the founder of BET. This guy sold BET back in 2001 for $2.9 billion. $2.9 billion. He made this deal with Viacom. That was a big to-do back in the early 2000s. You weren't hearing about nobody Black making moves like that except Oprah. So that was another one. But one of my favorite people who are very radical, reminds me of myself, is going to be the philosopher, Cornel West. One of the great, brilliant minds of our times. He is going to be the most visible political scientist, the most visible African American philosopher. One reason that I follow him a lot is because of this critical theory that he practices or that he talks about. I deal a lot with critical race theory, which looks at the way society is structured through this white male Christian lens. And it's about combating that and ensuring that we look at these lenses through Black folks, through the lens of Black women, through Latina, women, through Latino men, Cornel West, man, 1973, man, went to Harvard, got a bachelor's, went on to Princeton in 1980 to get his PhD in philosophy. He was a very big critic of Barack Obama. And that led me to another question that may be, I think that someone may have posted this in our group before. But what is it that Black men have against other Black men who are successful? What is
it's called envy. It's envy.
I know Kev had mentioned that, man. But
it's envy and it's regret. You know what I'm saying? Regret that you had the same ability, you had the same opportunities as this person, and you didn't take advantage of those. You want to live your best life. You want to hang out with your homeboys, and look where you're at now, right? So now let me hate on this person because they took advantage of all their education and their opportunities.
Let me give you another perspective, though. I do agree. Let me say that first and foremost. However, I think there is a certain level of expectation that we put on certain people in position. So let's use Barack Obama, for example. I think when we as a Black people elected or voted for Barack Obama, our hope was that he was going to focus on Black people only.
Talk about issues. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to
However,
focus on the United States. He was going to focus on Black America. And because he did not focus on Black America, people discounted him because he didn't do nothing for the Black community. And so let's go back even to, to those opportunities, man. Absolutely. Everybody has the same opportunity, especially from the terms of early learning. But I mean, being a special education teacher, what I realize is that everybody don't have the same ability. You know what I'm saying? Our learning abilities are different. You know what I'm saying? And
which is true, but it's also a level of determination and dedication, right? Like one of my really good friends,
some people ain't got it, man. Some people, like I'm telling you, I'm looking at some kids, man, they ain't got it.
And that could be true. One of my really good friends, we both graduated in the same year in 2002. Both had the opportunity to go
Class
to
02 checking in one time.
Hey, you can't breathe without O2, okay? But I think one of the things that I thought one of the things
I can't even say that because
listen, that was our thing. You couldn't tell us nothing, okay? You couldn't tell us nothing.
We were the oxygen, man. We were the lifeline.
But one thing I think, we went to high school together, and had the opportunity to go and do great things. Both had the opportunity to go away to college. Mm-hmm. He chose to stay and work at the plant, at GM, because GM, at 18, if you making $4,000 a month at 18, you really doing something. You know what I'm saying? And he's been in school since 2002 at the local community college working on his associate's degree. Okay. And he always says, he always tells me, he said, I always feel like you're throwing your success in my face. And I said, but I don't do anything. How does that work? I've heard people say that too. I feel like y'all are throwing your successes in our faces. How? I'm excited and proud of what I've done as a person. So I'm going to celebrate my own. I'm going to pat myself on the back because I'm proud of what I've done.
I've had a white person just sit here and tell me, you always have to talk about your accomplishments and
I do.
And
yes,
what
I do.
you've done. Do. Like, do you always have to talk about this? And I was like, to be honest, most of the white men in this room that we sit at this table with, they were grandfathered in these positions because they uncles or they friends or they granddaddies. So yes, I'm going to talk about all of my accomplishments because when I look around this table, the people at this table can't touch what I've done. They don't hold even the degree that I hold, but what they do hold are generational wealth that they've had access to. What they've had is an uncle and a pappy that was given things that they were able to leave them.
Come on, so a pappy.
I'm working towards trying to leave something for my people. And the way that I have to do that is to ensure that y'all around this table know that y'all not dealing with no dummy. So y'all need to know where I come from. Y'all need to know that I was educated from an HBCU. Y'all need to know that I attended a PWI. So the spectrum in which I look at everything is going to be totally different from what y'all see because y'all looking at this from Mount Olympus. But I had to walk through these valleys to get to.
I had to work for this. Yes,
exactly. A
very diverse academic background.
Yes,
hands down. And I think that has made me like people like I was telling my friends like you went to an HBCU, you got both your degrees from there, like the same school. I felt like you stayed in a comfort zone because you were comfortable there. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get out and try. Yes, hands down, love my HBCU. Still very active with my HBCU and my alumni association, but I wanted a different experience at a PWI. Like you know what I'm saying? So now I can fuse both these things together and really build my career off of life lessons I learned at both institutions. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody has the will or the ability to do that. And I will agree with you there, Wiggles. Not everybody has the ability or the dedication to do that.
Yeah, you're right, man. But in closing, man, we have examples, regardless of our background. We have examples, and we've also are examples. So, to Kevin's point, holistically, we are without excuse. Because if we have examples and we are examples, we should know better enough to set again some attainable and some realistic goals and set out to achieve those. Don't measure ourselves by somebody else just because we have the example. Just let that be inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Or aspiration. But we don't have to measure ourselves one to the other, because in my opinion, we are connected. We need one another. You know what I'm saying? So that we can accomplish the whole goal, whatever that is, and that's a whole nother show. The whole goal for the Black family, the Black males. But I do believe though that success for the Black male is dependent upon how the Black male sees himself.
Yes.
True. And what lens are you looking through? What mirror you're looking at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my closing thought, man.
I wanted to share just one more thing that I think probably sums up what you're saying. This is from my neophyte, Phylactic Evolution. This kind of sort of sums up what you were saying here. Success depends on the person. So I would say to be in a state of comfort and confidence.
Correct.
State of comfort and confidence. That's for self. I think that my take from this is that we need to look into mental health. We need to lay on somebody's couch and we need to talk about these things as Black men. Don't be afraid to open up about it. Don't be afraid to talk about these envious feelings, you know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to say you don't know. Knowledge is going to be power. So the more that you know, the more that you have access to it and you humble yourself to it, you know what I mean? I think the better off that we'll also be. So yeah, success for the Black male.
Kev, what's our thought for the week, man? Close us out.
Great show. But here's your thought for the week. Stop trying to put out fires for people who are addicted to flames.
Well, y'all.
Whoa.
Well.
It's been good, man. It's your boy Wiggles.
It's your boy Kev.
Yo, it's your boy Marcus Antonio, and we just want to thank you for sharing your perspective today. You can check us out, man, on our Facebook group, The Black Male Perspective. We'll have a Twitter feed coming soon, so y'all can go ahead and join that. We're looking at a lot of things to get out there, to get your opinion, to bring it back, to bring y'all here with us, to make it live for you guys. But thank y'all for your time, and this has been The Black Male Perspective.